friends, it's Alexa from Alexa Loves Books, and I'm super excited to be back to vlogging as it's been like months and months and months since my last one. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing my top 5 reads for December, my TBR reads for January, and my TBR reads for TBR Takedown, which I will talk about a little later. So first, let's talk about my top 5 reads for December. First among all of those reads is Outrun the Moon by Stacey Lee, and that is a book that comes out in May 2016. Yes, I know it's a while from now, but once I got an early copy of it, I couldn't resist and I had to read it early, and it was so worth it. The book is about a girl named Mercy Wong who wants to do better for her family, so she tries to get into this elite finishing school, and she does manage it. But then all her plans kind of get blown up in her face when the San Francisco earthquake happens. It's a great book, honestly, you guys. The depiction of the era and the characters are fantastic, and you should definitely keep an eye out for that one. The second, third, and fourth books are all a part of the same series, the Mechanics of Love series by Megan Erickson. These 3 books are actually probably among my favorite releases from her. I love the fact that they're not only romances, but they're also family pieces. Each book is about a different romance, obviously, but each of the couples kind of has other characters involved in their lives, whether it be family or friends. And I love that. The first book is called Dirty Thoughts, and it is about Cal Payton, the eldest Payton brother, and his high school sweetheart, Jenna. And it's basically a reunion story, a reunion type romance, and I love those. I'm a sucker for those. The second book is about Brent Payton and Ivy Dawn, and it is called Dirty Talk. Ivy happens to be the sister of Brent's new co-worker. And I just love that this book is not only about their romance, but it's also about how these two learn to, stand up for themselves, to really take the initiative and grab their lives and go for the things that they want, and I love that. The third book is called Dirty Deeds, and it is about Alex Dawn, Ivy's sister, and Brent's co-worker, and Spencer, who is a British businessman. First of all, British businessman. Enough said. But really, what I love the most about Alex and Spencer is that they both kind of learn that, you do learn from your past, and you do take things from your past, but you can also move into the future, and sometimes people can surprise you. So I loved all 3 books, and I highly recommend reading them, and everything else by Megan Erickson too. And the last book is Truth Witch by Susan Denner. It is an awesome YA fantasy that features a pair of friends, and they are Safi and Isolde. Honestly, there's so many amazing things about it. The world building is phenomenal. The magical system is so intriguing. The relationships between all these characters are so complex and so well done, and the characters themselves are amazing, and the transformation they go through from the start to the end is so good, and the story has so much action in it, which I loved. I honestly could not put it down. This is the second time I've read the review copy I got sent, and it is still just as phenomenal. Speaking of Truth Witch, my friend Rachel from Hello Chelly and I are doing an event on our blogs. It's a week-long event called A Truth Witch Affair, so if you guys want to, you should check it out. I will leave a link to that down below. And those were my top 5 reads for December. Now we're going to talk about my January TBR, which I am now going to show you. Ta-da! Alright, let's get started. The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. This is actually the Flights of Fantasy book club read for January, along with its companion sequel, The Blue Sword. The Hero and the Crown happens to be about Erin, who is the daughter of a witch and a king, and people don't really expect much from her. But she's going to prove them all wrong because destiny has a lot of things in store for her. I love the sound of this fantasy novel. I'm excited to read something by Robin McKinley, and I really hope I like it. Jojo Moyes, and the book is The Girl You Left Behind. This is a dual timeline story. There is a timeline in the past, which is narrated by a woman named Sophie, and it happens during World War I. There is a present-day timeline, I believe, and it is narrated by a woman named Liv. The way these 2 timelines connect is that Liv actually owns a portrait painting of Sophie, and we find out as the story unfolds, I assume, why that painting is so valuable, and about Sophie's life and about Liv's life. So I'm excited for that. I love Jojo Moyes and her writing, and I can't wait to read more, so can't wait. A recommendation from my friend Hannah I'm so obsessed with, and I'm sure a lot of people have already read this one, and it is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. It's a classic that is about a girl named Cassandra, and she basically chronicles the life and the times of her family who live in a ruined castle or castle ruins. I am really excited to read this. I love bookish main characters, and I definitely trust Hannah's recommendation. It sounds great, and plus, it will help me because I am planning to read more classics this year, so hurrah! More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. It's basically about a boy named Aaron Soto who is, growing up, discovering things about himself. He doesn't have the greatest home life. He finally meets this boy named Thomas, and Thomas kind of inspires new feelings in him. And in the end, I basically believe Aaron is given the choice to go undergo an operation at the Lateo Institute that will change his memories or take them away from him. I love the concept of this book. It's like nothing I've ever heard before. And I love Adam, so I am definitely excited to read this. I've actually had this for like months now because it's been with me since it first was released. So I definitely want to prioritize reading this. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is actually a book that Hannah of So Obsessed With loved, and I know Shannon of Leaning Lights loved it as well. Historical fiction, 2 points of view, I think, 2 main characters. Marie Laure, who is a little girl, and she and her father flee Paris when it's occupied by Nazis, and an orphan named Werner who's pretty good at tinkering with stuff. And I am curious to see how their paths are going to cross. I haven't been in the mood for historical fiction until now, which is why I finally started picking up more historical fiction novels, and I'm excited to read this one. Now we're going to be talking about TBR Takedown. TBR Takedown is actually hosted by Shannon of Leaning Lights. For more details, I will be linking to her video down below so you can check that out. And I decided to choose my TBR based on the challenge categories that she provided, and there are 7 of those. I only chose 5 books because some of them apply to 2 categories, and here are the books in question. The first category was a book from your recent haul, and I chose a book that would also apply to the category first in a series, and that is The Selection by Kira Cass. This book is about a girl named America Singer, and she's one of 35 girls, I think, who are basically competing to win the hand of the prince. I love the fact that it sounds like The Bachelor in a fantasy world. I think that's so funny and so interesting. I've heard it's kind of like light and easy to read, and like it's quick. I'll read it fast, so I thought it would be a perfect pick for this readathon. A book that's been on your TBR shelf for more than a year, and I actually picked a book that I got as a gift from Daphne at Winged Reviews, and that book is Murder Most Unladylike by Robin Stevens. It's actually the first in a series as well, I believe, and it's about 2 girls, Hazel Wong and Daisy Wells, and they set up a detective agency at their school. Their first real case involves the dead body of their science teacher, science mistress, I believe, and the fact that they can't find the dead body after spotting it. I love mystery MG novels. I think it's probably because I grew up reading a lot of Nancy Drew. So I can't wait to read this. Plus, I just really love this cover. A book outside your comfort zone. And for this one, I chose Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It's outside my comfort zone for 2 reasons. I haven't read a lot of adult classics in the last few years. And the second reason is I don't read a lot of romantic suspense novels, and that is what this one seems to be. I actually don't know much about Rebecca. I believe it's a novel about the second wife of a guy named Maxim de Winter, and how she is learning more about the household she now lives in, the family she's a part of, and the first wife named Rebecca. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this one. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I hope I enjoy it, but at least, again, it's another classic read for me. Complete a series or read a sequel in a series, and this book applies for that category, and the next one, which is read a fire color book, and it is The Elite by Kira Cass, which is the second book in the Selection trilogy. If I love the first one, or at least enjoy it, then I will have the second one on hand, and I thought, why not include it as part of this TBR? The last category for the TBR Takedown Readathon is to read a non-novel item, and for that I chose Very Good Lies by J.K. Rowling. She made a commencement speech at Harvard in 2008 or so, and it was about failure and imagination, and I love that speech, and I got this book because obviously it's inspired, or it's exactly that speech, and I can't wait to read it, or reread it, or rehear it. as it may be the case. That is my TBR for January, my TBR for TBR Takedown, which you should be joining in, and my top December reads. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye!